Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we are painting trees on a cliff. Now, if you have the book close by, you can do the outline from the book and you can also have a look at the colors that I've used. So I'm starting the same as our previous one with the lighthouse. I'm using a palette knife and I'm using some Payne's Grey and warm sepia just to create these rocks. And also make sure to leave some white spaces into the rocks because that gives it a more natural look, and also some darker areas as you go closer to the bottom. You don't want rocks just to be one flat color, so that's why I'm using a few different colors, warm sepia, Payne's Grey. You can even put on some yellow ochre and just drop in some of those colors, darker in some areas, more warm sepia in other areas, and it just gives it more of a natural look, especially with the palette knife, leaving lots of white space into your painting. I've even added some burnt sienna in here, as you can see. You just don't want to use a flat you want a nice mix of colors. Okay, so everywhere that you are going to put some rocks down, just use the same method using a palette knife. Now for the beach area, I'm using my number 8 Princeton brush and I'm going in with some of the yellow ochre, a very light mixture of it, mixed with lots of water. Now going in with some ultramarine blue for my horizon line. And just painting a very soft mixture of that. You want some white to still come through, so using lots of water and just dropping in some color here and there, and you'll see that you just keep it soft and keep almost using a bit of a dry brush technique so that you can have some white spaces coming through as well. Especially around your rocks, you do want some white areas to give the idea of some water crashing against your rocks. Now I'm just adding a tiny bit of Payne's Grey. I've watered down this mixture quite a bit and just adding some couple of darker areas into my water. Still keeping those white lines. Um, and then while it's still wet, a bit more ultramarine as well. Just very watery mixtures. And softer and lighter as you come forward. Now for the trees, I'm using that old brush of mine that's good for creating texture, the one that I've cut up. And I'm just going in with a bit of phthalo green. And then while that's wet, I'm adding in some forest green for shadows. Now let's do the sky. Be mindful not to touch the green at this point. So I'm just wetting the whole sky, still using the same brush, number 8, my number 8 Princeton brush, and just dropping in a bit of color. Sorry for going off the screen here. Sometimes you get lost in your painting and you just forget to check whether you are still in the shot. So I'm just dropping in some soft ultramarine blue just to give the idea of soft clouds in the sky, few darker areas, and just using lots of water to soften those. You can add a little bit of Payne's grey as well, which gives nice shadows into your clouds. To soften, you just wash your brush and use a little bit of water on your brush to soften some edges while they are still wet. And just continue working your sky until you are happy with it. And then the last thing is just to put the tree trunks in. So using my number 2 Princeton brush, I'm just adding in the tree trunks with warm sepia, and you can also use a little bit of burnt sienna just in some places to give some extra texture into your trunks. And that's it. I hope you've enjoyed today. Please share them with me if you paint, and happy painting until next time.